Welcome everybody to the Locker Room Rant. Tony with me as always, John V and Nico.
What's going on?
What's happening, fam?
I gotta tell you, we're a little fired up already. We had a little pre-show talk, and we're already fired up for tonight. Be a good show. We're gonna start with the NBA, get into the playoffs. We got the Bucks and the Hawks on right now. Bucks have a 2-1 lead in the series. Hawks are currently winning in this game. They're up by about 12, and this is without Trae Young. They have no Trae Young because he was injured in Game 3. Kind of slipped into the ref's foot in Game 3 and twisted his ankle. He has a bone bruise in his ankle. Had to miss Game 4, but they're still looking good as of right now without him. But do you guys think this is over? I know you guys last show, both of you said Bucks in 4, get out the brooms. What do you guys think? I mean, is this a series or not really?
I don't think
it is. I don't think it is either.
I mean, I think that like I said, I still think the Bucks are going to win handedly. Things have, they're 2-1 right now, so they probably could win another one. But I think the Bucks are going to get this.
John, you agree?
Yeah, I think they'll get it. I think as far as this slow start, I'm not good with it right now. Like I'm not good with this. I don't like that lead that they have without Trae Young. So I'm wondering, what was their preparation? What was their game plan? Like, did they center it around a potentially injured player? Like, were they thinking about these? What were they doing? What's going on right now? I mean, everybody's playing for the Bucks, right? I'm not too worried just yet. I don't like this lead that they have right now, but I think it'll be all right. I think it'll be okay.
Do you guys watch Game 1?
My question for you is yes. But before we go to Game 1, I got a question. Do you feel like Giannis is the Robin to Chris Middleton?
Well, I know in Game 3 he was the Robin. Chris Middleton, I think, went off for 20 points in the fourth quarter and brought them back to win that game. That game, I think they were losing by double digits in Game 3, and Middleton went off in the fourth quarter, scored 20, got them back in the game, and ultimately they ended up winning. But
I think Giannis had quite a game. I think he had a little over 30 himself.
No, he had a great game too, but it was really just those two. The role players didn't really step up that much. But I'll tell you what, man, if Trae doesn't go down, this is kind of turning into a fun series. I mean, they really had a chance to steal Game 3. They're looking good right now. I mean, with Trae, I'm sure they would have been a little better. Maybe they're motivated because he's out. I don't know, but
Lou Williams is no slouch. Like, for a couple games, Lou Williams can put it together.
Yeah. Lou Williams is who he is. He could score, but it's still Lou compared to Trae. But it's just sad that the kid went down. He wants to be out there with his team, and it's sad to see a guy like that go down. Do I think there's a glimmer of hope? Perhaps. But I think Milwaukee's going to take this at the end of the day. No matter if it's 4-1, 4-2, 4-3, it's going to be the Bucks. You guys agree?
Yeah. Another thing about the I don't think Giannis is necessarily Robin to Middleton, because I don't think Middleton's Batman. But the thing I've always said is Giannis is a perfect 2. I don't think he's a good 1. I think he's a perfect 2 for this reason, because when the game's on the line, they don't go to Giannis, they go to Middleton because he's better in those situations. And in order to be a great 1, you kind of have to be able to take over in those times.
You kind of compare it to like, would you compare Giannis to kind of to Shaq and how dominant Shaq was? But at the end of the game, if you needed a bucket, you're not going to Shaq, you're going to Kobe.
No, I wouldn't compare him to Shaq because Shaq, the roles are a little different. Shaq was the dominant force on that team by far. It even goes more so than Giannis is the dominant force on the Bucks. I mean, Shaq was the guy they went to. It's just that Shaq obviously couldn't shoot like a shot. You know, he was basically the enforcer down low. He just played a different role. Giannis he's just good at other things except shooting. But he's good at putting the ball in the hoop, but not when the game's on the line. When you have to go into a street fight with somebody and you need to actually unload firepower on them, you're not going to go with Giannis. Your best bet on the Bucks is Middleton. I would actually compare Giannis to almost like a Scottie Pippen in a way. Like Scottie Pippen was great, but I don't think he was ever a guy that could carry a team.
I could see that. I think, in my opinion, to answer your question, John, I think the first 3 quarters of a game, Giannis has the Batman suit on, Middleton has the Robin, and then when they get into the fourth quarter, they switch outfits, and Middleton turns into the Batman, and Giannis is the Robin. But it's neither here nor there. Those guys, I think they're going to pull this out. I mean, they should, but I was saying that against the 76ers as well. And they keep shocking and playing their asses off. So we'll see what happens, but see, we got game 2 going on right now. No Trey. Game 4, no Trey. So we'll see how this one turns out. If they get a 3-1 lead, you can wrap this up and throw it away. Over in the Western Conference, we got John's Phoenix Suns going up against the Clippers. Suns have a 3-1 lead, had a 3-1 lead. And then last night came for game 5, and Paul George went nuts and put that team on his back and won that game 5. Now the series is 3-2. Suns still winning. And I'm starting to wonder if Chris Paul has a little bit of doubt in his mind after game 5. Like, oh, man, I wish we would have just finished them tonight. Don't give them that glimmer of hope. I mean, this Clippers team, they've already come back from 2-0 deficits in rounds 1 and 2. So they know how to come back. Ty Lue knows how to make adjustments. I saw a Boogie Cousins sighting last night, and he was kind of balling out as well. And they look good, but and that was in Phoenix. So we're going back for game 6 in LA. And I'd like to see the Clippers pull it out just to see a game 7. I love game 7s, and just to have some excitement in these playoffs before getting to the finals. You still like I'm assuming you still like the Suns, right, John?
Sure, absolutely, I do. I'm a little concerned. Chris Paul obviously has had his fair share of 3-1 or 3-2 when he was with. Was it when he was in Houston?
Yeah.
And then it happened to him again, right?
I think it happened to him when he was with the Clippers, actually. And then I think the Houston, they had a 3-2 lead, and he got injured. So he wasn't able to play in this. Right.
I remember that. So he has this. I mean, it's got to be like a kind of like a, I don't know, like a complex maybe, just kind of freaking out, you know? It's got to be nervous. I mean, if you were Chris Paul, wouldn't you kind of be nervous, bro, if last night slipped away and you're just like, oh my God, bro. And like, I don't know if you guys see this or not, but Devin Booker's stats, right? They reflect like dominance, right? He'll have a 33-point game or 30-point game. But his turnovers during the like late, I'm watching him and I'm not seeing this. I'm not seeing the Devin Booker that was dominating. I see him missing a lot of threes. I think he was like 13 for 15 in the series, or in the last. I got this messed up. It was 13 for 15 threes. And I don't know if it were like the back-to-back games, but whatever. The guy is struggling, but his stats don't reflect it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you got to realize this kid. Can you imagine playing basketball your whole life, and then all of a sudden you're in the playoffs, the Western Conference Finals, and you break your nose, and you have to wear a mask?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the mask does. I don't know how much it hurts players or whatever. I know Rip Hamilton ended up wearing it for the rest of his career after he got injured. But you got to think that I mean, that's got to do something to your game, right? If you got to start wearing a mask.
It has to hurt, and it's going to hurt worse if you get hit again.
If your game is built on finesse and your ability to be pinpoint accurate, I can see where a little something might throw you off. If your game's like a Shaq type guy where like all you're doing is like enforcing down low, I don't see how it really affects all that much. But it could probably affect a guy like Booker a great deal.
Yeah, that was a good take by Dan. We got Dan watching the show tonight. Zubac was out last night for the Clippers. He said Ayton should have dominated when they barely used him. I agree with that. I'd say you know what? We got to stop the show real quick, and we have to thank Dan Rizzo for putting the fantasy league back together.
Yeah, Dan.
We had a fantasy for the people listening in. We had a fantasy league started in 1997. We had it all the way up to 2019. Took a few years off, and then Dan says, "You know what? We're getting the boys back together." Not only did we get back together for the fantasy league, but we got some of the original guys from 1997 back in the league, and I couldn't be happier. So, cheers to you, Dano. Thank you.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, I think.
Back in the mix.
What's that, Nick?
Do we bring Kennedy back in the mix?
Kennedy's back.
Kennedy's
You're not following the thread.
I have a hard time following threads.
Dude, he doesn't even respond to us. You think he's going to respond to a message with 12 individuals, bro? It's not even urgent. It has nothing to do with anything. He couldn't care less. Somebody's family, somebody's wife could have given birth. Nick does. No.
Kennedy's back, baby. And we plan on doing some, when the season gets a little closer, we'll do some fantasy segments on the show, fantasy football segments, bring in some guests, probably bring in some guys from the league. And we'll definitely keep you guys updated weekly on what the standings are, especially maybe we'll do a little something extra just between us three, a little side bet.
I got to tell you, Dan and I spoke briefly about this yesterday, the day before, and we were talking about if we could do the draft live on the show. However, thank you. StreamYard only allows 10
yes
individuals on at a time, right? So
yeah.
So we're kind of at a disadvantage in that point. So
not necessarily, because there's actually like a decent chance that like a couple of us will be on the same feed. I'm actually thinking about going down to Florida for it.
So maybe we can we'll see if we can arrange that. I think it'd be a lot of fun to have the draft live, and it's always fun when Billy takes all of his time that he's allotted to draft, and he'll be like the first overall pick. It makes no fucking sense. So you guys, so John, you're sticking with the Suns. You think they could take it in Game 6, or does it go 7?
No, I think they could take it in Game 6. Suns
in 6. Nick,
I'm gonna stick with my original stance. I think I said Suns in 7. I just think Paul George isn't gonna play like that all the time, and I think they needed Paul George that game to play like that. And if he doesn't play like that, I don't think they win.
My pick was the Clippers. I don't like where they're at right now. No Kawhi Leonard. Are you kidding me? I'm sticking with the Clippers though. I'm gonna go Clippers in 7, and I think that's the only possible thing there is Clippers in 7. So I'm gonna say Clippers in 7, and we'll see by next week's show. We'll know what the NBA Finals is looking like. Pretty excited for that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We have a couple more NBA topics to get to. Let's talk about Chauncey Billups. Nick, going to your Portland Trail Blazers, named head coach. What are your thoughts on getting Chauncey?
I gotta be honest, I have absolutely no clue. I don't know what type of coach Chauncey Billups is. He's never been a head coach before. What I hope he does, as opposed to Stotts, and I didn't hate Stotts, but there came a point in time where I was like, this is as good as they can get with Stotts, and they're never going to win a title with Stotts, is that he doesn't have a strict rotation. Stotts seemed like he had a strict rotation where he would play, especially guys like Damian Lillard, he would play them a specific amount of time, and then he would take them out in a specific scenario, and it didn't matter what was transpiring inside the game. So there were times where they could bury people, and he would take Lillard out. There'd be times when they were behind, he'd take Lillard out at that same point in time in the game. I think they need to mix it up. I think they need a coach who's not as stringent on how the game is supposed to be run and just actually manages the team throughout the game. So I hope that's what Chauncey Billups is.
Let me tell you what I don't like. I think back in, I want to say, I could be getting the years completely off. I want to say around 1997, late 90s, Chauncey Billups was with Detroit and had some type of sexual allegations against him. Forceful sex with a female, him and another guy. Private investigators were hired, and they said that it was consent. It came back as consensual, but they had to pay a lot of money to this girl. But it's all surfacing again now that he was named head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers. I watched an interview with him today, and he literally he was getting question after question about the sexual assault allegations from the late 90s. This guy's a fucking assistant coach. He's been part of the NBA since he's left the NBA. So why are they just now caring about his sexual assault allegations from the late 90s? Why is it now when he gets a head coaching job? Oh, did no one care about this when he's an assistant coach with the Clippers?
I just think
get it.
He knew it was coming. I mean, you had to know it was coming if you're going to be head coach of any organization. I mean, he had to know. Somebody probably prompted him and was like, "Look, you know what? You're gonna be your head coach, and they're gonna dig shit up and they're gonna throw it in your face. So just prepare yourself for those questions and try to move on and do what you got to do." I would imagine he expected it.
Nick?
I really prefer not to talk about that. I'd rather just talk about the sports and not talk about controversy outside of the sports. So, as far as Chauncey Billups being the head coach, I wish him the best of luck. He's my Portland Trail Blazers coach, and God willing, he wins us a championship.
Yeah, but what do you like about his I mean, what do you need? I this thing about rotations. You play to your opponent.
No, that's the thing. He didn't. He would take Damian Lillard out, honestly, all the time. It didn't matter what the scenario was. He would take him out with about 3-4 minutes left in the third quarter and not put him in till about 3 to 5 minutes of the last quarters.
Yeah, but maybe that's Lillard. Maybe that's Lillard.
Well, Lillard's not the person that's supposed to make those decisions. That's Terry.
I mean, if he's like, "Take me out, coach," like I'm gassed.
The head coach is supposed to make those decisions.
I guess. I mean, you're not totally wrong, but I mean,
sometimes that makes sense, but other times it didn't make sense. If you're down by 4, you don't take Lillard out in that scenario because that 4 a lot of times turns into 13. And if you're up by 2 or 3, you don't take Lillard out in that scenario because and honestly, if you want to take Lillard out, if you think you got a good thing going and you want to give Lillard a break, that's fine. But when you're up 2 to 3, goes down to like being down by 7, guess what? Lillard has to come back in the freaking game.
All right. I mean, it's good. It's a solid point. I'm not a big fan of what's his face. Oh God, not Carmelo. Tony
McCollum.
CJ McCollum. Just not a fan. I don't think that even in those moments that Lillard is out, I don't think that McCollum was ever the guy to keep the offense rolling. You know, I saw him whiff so many layups and take shots that probably he should have hit.
Well, the thing is, he's the only other guy they had that can do that.
Yeah, maybe Billups is going to change.
But,
maybe Billups will get aggressive in free agency and try to utilize what he can and get some help out there.
He said that in the interview today that he has a really, really close relationship with Damian Lillard. So I'm sure that's where all this stemmed from. So,
well, Lillard said, I forget who the other guy was, but he said that he either wanted Billups or some other guy. I forget who it was.
Carlisle, right?
I don't think it was Carlisle. It's either
Carlisle was already on the Pacers.
Yeah, okay.
The Pacers signed him, I think, late last week. Nick, do you have more to say about this? Are you looking something up?
I'm just trying to see who the other coach was.
I think it was a female. Is that a Billups? It was Billups and then a female coach were the last two.
Well, he either wanted Kidd or Billups.
Who was the first one?
Jason Kidd.
Okay. Well, kids.
In Dallas scooped him up again, right?
Yeah. They said they either wanted Kidd or Billups. So
all right.
He wanted, so he's got to produce now.
Who did Jason Kidd coach before?
The Nets.
The Nets.
All right.
So he was never affiliated with Dallas ever before?
A player played for him, won the championship.
I meant as a coach, but okay, yeah, you're good.
I think the only place he ever coached was he coached in Milwaukee, didn't he?
I think so. I forget. All right, next thing I want to get to is Scottie Pippen's been all over the news. Scottie Pippen has a new bourbon coming out. He has a new book coming out. And he's been all over the media, I think, for those specific reasons, just talking crazy shit. He came out today, said that Phil Jackson, when Jordan was off team playing baseball, they were in the playoffs, and there was 2 seconds left, and Phil Jackson drew up a play for Tony Kukoc, and Pippen sat out that play. You guys remember that? There's 2 seconds left. Pippen was supposed to inbound the ball to Kukoc, and he refused to go in the game because Phil didn't draw up the play for him. It was real big on the Last Dance.
Can't remember it.
Jordan series. But Pippen came out and said Phil Jackson is racist and was trying to hook up Tony Kukoc because of race. So I think he's really trying to stir the pot to get some book sales and some bourbon sales. But I mean, that's kind of crazy, just throwing those terms out there. I'm sure Phil doesn't appreciate that. You guys have anything on this? I just kind of wanted to bring that up real quick.
It's just weird to me how former players of that dynasty, Tony, how like maybe
they all seem miserable. Don't they all seem miserable?
Yeah, dude. I feel like they don't like one another. They don't like him. You know, it is what it is. I mean, it could be just a PR stunt. It really could. You're right. I mean, it's a good point because you've been, now you're picking on KD and you're talking about Phil. Whatever. I mean, I think you're right. It's a PR stunt to get out there. I don't know how being negative and now the Kevin Durant, like I said before, I think that was constructive criticism. But you were right. You said anytime that you go after KD with anything, he comes back at you like a little baby. So, I don't know. Typically, your PR stunt, you'd be like, you get on the Today Show, you'd get on some late night TV, you do something fun and positive to push your brand to get your brand rolling. So I don't know, bro. It's weird to me.
Like,
No, but
does he think his paths are never going to cross with these people again? That's what I don't understand.
That's exactly what I was just gonna say.
Like, he's going to see Phil Jackson again.
But actually, the thing is what John said. You go out, you be positive, you promote your brand and positivity. That's actually not true. For anyone who's ever been in public relations, or I actually studied public relations for 2 years in college. Bad publicity is better than no publicity, and sometimes bad publicity can be better than good publicity. If you get your name out there and people are talking about you, that's all that really matters. Conor McGregor punches a guy as soon as punches an old man in the face in the bar when he's bringing out his whatever the hell that thing's called, a proper 12 or whatever it is.
Proper squirt.
Proper squirt. There you go. That's all the best squirt ever got. But yeah,
You remember when that old man almost beat your ass at the gas station?
I should have rocked that dude's world.
John, you ever hear that story?
That haunts me
I
every
don't
day.
know. No,
We're at a gas station on the way to Muhammad's wedding, and we're driving to Buffalo. We're filling up the gas, getting ready to leave, and Nick is smoking a cigarette at the gas station as I'm getting gas, and some guy at the gas station getting gas in his car walks over to Nick and goes, "Hey, what's wrong with you? Are you stupid or something?" Or no. He goes, you ain't too swift, are you, kid? He must have been in his 80s.
No,
And,
he's probably 55.
He was in his 80s, buddy.
He had a big white beard and white hair. That's it.
He goes, "Hey, you ain't too swift, are you, kid?" Nick goes, "Oh." And the guy walked away. Totally punked you down, dude. Anyways,
why the fuck were you smoking at a gas station, bro?
he gives no fucks about anything.
Okay.
No rules, that guy.
But anyways,
You're
yeah,
a rebel.
bad publicity is just as good, if not better, at sometimes than good publicity. On top of that, here's what I will say about that. You got to live with yourself. And if Phil Jackson was a racist, then whatever, say what you want. But if Phil Jackson wasn't a racist and you're using that on him, you're a piece of shit. You're a piece
Well,
of
I mean,
shit.
if you believe that bad publicity and controversy
Doesn't make
is
you a
the
good
way to
person.
get it out there,
Doesn't mean you're not going to burn in hell. That's the worst.
Roy boy,
The worst accusation you can put upon somebody if they don't deserve it.
good to have you here, brother.
If you don't deserve that criticism, the worst thing you could declare somebody is a homophobe if they don't deserve it, or a racist. If they don't deserve it, that's the worst thing you can put upon somebody.
Well, he's trying to push his brand, so let's see how far it takes him.
All right, now we're going to get into the Tokyo Olympics coming up here in a few months. We're not going to get crazy into the Olympics because we really don't know shit except for basketball. But let's try to work our way through this one. I like doing that. I want to read you guys the USA basketball team. And I want you guys to tell me without blurting it out right now, I want to go through each player, name the players, and I would want you to tell me what does not fit on this roster. Bam. All right, we're starting off. Bam Adebayo from the Heat, Bradley Beal from the Wizards, Booker from the Suns, Durant from the Nets, Jeremy Grant from the Pistons. That one's kind of iffy too. Draymond Green, obviously from the Warriors, Drew Holiday from the Bucks, Zach LaVine from the Bulls, Dame Lillard from the Trailblazers, Chris Middleton from the Bucks, Jason Tatum from the Celtics, and Kevin Love from the Cavaliers. Was there any name that I said that just doesn't fit into that team?
Here's the thing. I don't know what the selection process for the NBA team in the Olympics is. Okay? But what I will say is that Kevin Love is arguably, when healthy, a top 15, 20 player. When healthy, when motivated, he's probably at that level.
Let me ask you this. If you're the Cleveland Cavaliers, wouldn't you say, hey, why don't you fucking play a game for us instead of going to Tokyo and playing for the Olympics? We pay you millions of dollars. Why don't you try playing a few games for us, Kev?
Maybe the Cavaliers don't care. Maybe.
Apparently, look, I'm with Nick. Well, actually, Nick, are you saying that K-Love doesn't fit the roster?
No, I'm saying that it's not inconceivable for Love to be on that team. I don't know what the process is. I don't know whether other people were asked and they said, you know what, I just at this point in time I got other things going on. I don't want to do it. Because
Lillard and Durant wanted Jeremy Grant. They were the ones pulling for him. I don't even know why the hell he's on there, but
I don't think Jeremy
K-Love would have been my
K-Love.
Huh?
I don't think Jeremy Grant deserves it over K-Love.
Well, I mean, they're both on the roster. I believe
Kevin
you
Love
could have probably picked two other players aside from Jeremy Grant and Kevin Love to put on the Olympics.
Wait, did you just hold on? Did you just say that he's a top 15 player when he's healthy?
I think so.
I mean, like
when he's healthy and motivated.
2010?
When he's healthy and motivated, I think Kevin Love could probably still get you 2013.
I'm shocked that he has
2010
anything good to say about Kevin Love to begin with. I'm already shocked. I mean, I'm not. I loved Kevin, man, and I have seen absolutely zero from him other than on social media. He's just always petting his dog, and he's not doing anything but wearing khakis. I don't see him. He's been irrelevant to my Cavs for 2 seasons at minimum. I don't know what the hell he's doing on the Olympic team. I feel like they could have picked someone else. I mean, even if they picked someone else, they're like, yeah, you know what? I got other stuff to do, you know.
No, I'd never trust someone that just lounges in khakis.
Did you guys ever think that maybe Kevin Love doesn't play because the Cavaliers maybe don't want him to play? Maybe they're comfortable. No, maybe not that they don't want him to play, but maybe that they're comfortable with him not playing. Because if he plays, they may win a little more and decreases their draft picks, stuff like that. He's never going to be a big draw. He's never going to bring people to
what?
The so.
Allison claims that Giannis tore his ACL. Quit screaming, please. All right.
Everyone looks really concerned.
Everyone looks pretty concerned. You know, what a shitty playoffs.
I know, bro.
No matter what happens in the finals, it's going to be some team's going to win that doesn't have their star player, unless it's Phoenix. I think they're fully healthy.
Although it doesn't look as bad right now.
I mean, I just, God damn it. Is he walking on it?
He's like, I don't know if he's putting weight on it at all. He's up. He's not walking at all.
He's probably thinking,
God
"Sija, mano."
Oh my God, bro. Son of a. I mean, of course this would happen, bro.
I think that's his brother carrying him off.
No. I mean, he doesn't. It doesn't look like he's putting like he's not bearing any weight on that leg. So it might not be as bad as it looked.
I'm watching behind Tony right now, so I'm trying to see.
I mean, that doesn't mean that he's not injured. I mean, but it looks like it might be better than it looked. It looks like he probably needs a little help now.
Yeah.
That's a shame, though. I hope it's not serious.
I think
Sija, mano.
I think tearing his ACL was probably a stretch, but I bet you it could be like an MCL sprain.
I mean, as bad.
He's walking on it, right, Tone?
I mean,
yeah, but they always walk on. I mean, I think Kobe Bryant tore his Achilles and was walking off the court. So,
Giannis, I really love Giannis as a player. I've always been torn because he's also on He Who Must Not Be
oh, I forgot about that.
It's also on He Who Must Not Be Named's fantasy team.
I forgot. And Kawhi, it could be the curse. It could be the Corey curse.
We don't speak his name too loudly, otherwise he might come around.
Hey, we're about to see that Batman take over now, John. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of worried about it now, bro. That could change everything.
I mean, that definitely changes everything.
Dan said, same with Kawhi. The king falls next season. All right. Let's try to.
Honestly, how pissed do you think he is right now?
Who?
He's probably fine with it. Klay Thompson will come back and he'll get another title out of it. Anyways, sticking with the Tokyo Olympics. Let's get past the basketball stuff. Whatever. Is there anything else you guys are looking forward to in the Olympics, or is it just like the basketball? Do you get into any other sport? Let's start with you, Nick.
First of all, there's always like one sport I get into that's like kind of goofy. For some reason, like I remember one year I got really into water polo. But I do like. I mean, obviously, I like track and field. I watch the swimming events, and
Go ahead, John.
You just put him in the penalty box.
Nick is in the penalty box.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie though. I do love track and field, also, bro. The gymnastics is awesome.
He did not watch a fucking water polo game. He did not.
He might have.
He is a
dude, he
liar.
does some weird stuff. I mean, dude, if he told me he watches some weird stuff, bro, so he might have.
It hasn't been 30 seconds. Couple more seconds.
Yeah.
John, is there anything that you're looking forward to?
Dude, I love the track and field, bro. I love the running, man. I love it. I'm looking forward to the gymnastics. I love the swimming. Rizzo loves swimming. Roy Boy, put in the comments, man, your favorite event. Dude, I like it all, bro.
Roy Boy's favorite event's football. He's ready for some NFL, boy.
Dude, he's my diehard Niner buddy. We met on another YouTube channel in the chat. I'm just glad he's here, man. Glad to have him here.
Oh yeah.
I'm always.
Go ahead, Nick.
I like women's gymnastics too. It's always like kind of like one of my favorite things to watch there too.
Yeah.
So.
All right, Larry Nasser down there. Honest to God, women's gymnastics is sweet just because we dominate. We dominate that shit. Simone Biles. I'll watch the Olympics. Every event she's in, she's doing. There's certain. What the hell is it called? Tricks. What the hell is it called? What's it called when you like run and you like do like a fucking no, like the pole vault shit, like the trick that you do off the pole vault.
Oh, the dismount.
All right, the dismount, the trick that you do in the air. You know, the flips and stuff.
Somersaults and stuff, bro.
Yeah, but what's it called? What's it called? Not tricks. What the fuck?
Jumping, flipping.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. There's a dismount. You do fucking shit in the air.
What's the shit in the air called?
I don't flips. Whatever you want to call it. Flips. Twists.
Tricks. Let's call it tricks.
Let's call it tricks.
There's certain tricks. There's certain tricks that only guys can do because of the strength and whatever. Mm-hmm. And Simone Biles is doing those tricks that only guys can do. Mm-hmm. That's freaking awesome. She's a beast and maybe the most dominant.
Dude, she's built like a brick shit house. She can definitely pull off some of the most difficult stunts. They're awesome.
I was looking through my Twitter page, and my dude, Myles Garrett, said something that I thought was odd. He said, Simone Biles is the most dominant female gymnastics person ever, and no one is talking about it. Who isn't talking about it? Like, who isn't giving Simone Biles her due?
Well, it's not like we're gonna sit around and watch the NFL draft and just be like,
I wonder how she's preparing this.
By the way, did you see Simone Biles in that Canadian Open last week?
Yeah, exactly.
She was dominating.
I get it. I get it.
Like Simone Biles is going to be on the cover of a Wheaties box. Simone Biles is going to
already has been.
Simone Biles has Subway commercials and Hello Fresh commercials or whatever.
Bro, she's the GOAT of gymnastics, bro. I mean, she just is.
I mean, there's an argument if you want to get into the historics of it that Nadia Comaneci was also up there too, but I would say Simone Biles by far is at least top two, if not one. So.
Listen, we only talk about her and we only see her, every 4 years? What is it?
It's just gymnastics is something you only really talk about during the Olympics.
Right. So it's not like we're like, that'd be like Simeon Biles this and Simeon Biles that. We don't follow her.
That'd be like saying like Usain Bolt, we don't give him the due he respects. No one's talking about it. No, we talk about it a lot when the Olympics were going on. Same thing with Michael Phelps. You don't talk about Michael. You didn't talk about Michael Phelps for 3 years. That fourth year, you talked about him.
Yeah, that Simone Biles, everyone knows and loves, and everyone will be watching her dominate the Olympics. Mm-hmm. I used to do the whole Michael Phelps thing, get into all that. I don't even know who like the best swimmers are, and I don't even know who the best swimmer is for United States nowadays. Is still that guy that was like smoking weed and shit? What the hell was his name?
I think he might be actually. I did hear something about him.
It should be. I don't know.
There's a female swimmer that's awesome. I think her name's Katie Ledecky.
Yeah. She's
sick. But what was the dude's name? I think it started with an L too.
Ledecky, you're saying?
That's the female. I keep wanting to say Chuck Liddell.
I just have to. I know who you're talking about. I just can't think of his name right now.
Anyways, any other sport that you like following in the Summer Olympics? Track and field. I don't really know. Does United States have someone that's supposed to shine in track and field? I haven't really kept up with it or heard anyone that's supposed to dominate from the United States.
Like I said, I couldn't give you names, but there's a couple. I remember seeing a couple that were supposed to be pretty good. I think one of them broke a record in like the qualifications.
Lezak?
No, Lezak was the guy that won it for the U.S. when Phelps really needed it in that relay against the French. Lezak was old though. Lezak was older than Phelps was.
What the hell was that guy's name?
I don't know who.
He was real cocky.
Yeah, he was cocky. Smoked weed.
He had his own TV show. Remember, he had his own TV show a few years ago.
It's not Brody Miller, is it? He was the skier, right? He's kind of similar to that guy.
Anyways, any other things that you guys follow that beach volleyball? Is that one chick still doing beach volleyball? The one that's been there since like we were 8 years old?
Gary Welsh.
No.
Yeah.
Probably.
She probably still does it and still dominates.
No, I really don't watch the beach volleyball that much, but you know what I do watch? I watch women's soccer. John will be happy about that because he's a big women's soccer.
I'm a big fan of the women's national team.
Yep. And I follow their club teams, like the individuals. And
yes, he does.
No.
Yes, he does.
No.
It's good, dude. They're good. I mean, sorry, the men's team is so garbage. They haven't been worth following at all. They've let us down. I mean, they've been the epitome. I mean, and I'm with Nick on the whole, never mind. We don't go there. But I love the national team, bro. I think they're awesome to watch, bro. They deserve to be paid, but they just don't. They don't get the recognition that they need in regards to it. I believe they should be paid. I don't know that it should be equal to the men's because I mean, I just believe it should be better than what they're getting. Well,
here's the thing. I think it should go by like, all right, let's say your high school football team. You sell tickets, people come and watch, and the money you make from your high school football team, 9 times out of 10, pays for your other sports. Right. So you'll have a soccer team that no one goes and watches for your high school team, but it's paid for by the
boosters
revenue, the revenue that football brings in.
No, the football program actually brings in a ton of money. Basketball also brings in a ton of money as well.
Yeah.
But football by far brings money.
But those two sports fund the other sports for your high school.
Yes.
My thing is the women's national team has got to have more revenue, bring in more revenue for TV, sponsors, everything, compared to the men's national team. So why wouldn't they be paid more?
They're carrying your country. They are representing the US. They're doing it at every stage, bro. They qualify for everything. They don't miss anything.
I think the men's national team probably brings in more money than you think.
Not more than the women's.
No, I think Nick and I did this a few years back. Honestly, I think we looked into it and we were he's right. I believe the men's team did bring in more revenue, but
you got to understand.
We were arguing about it because we just, Nick says it depends on, You got
to understand when the US plays Brazil, there's US fans watching it, but there's also Brazilian fans watching it too.
Hey, you know what? I might be in control of this stuff, but what's fair is fair. I'm putting myself on mute. I'll see you guys in 30 seconds.
There you go. But yeah, so actually, but the thing is, I actually think the women's national team actually probably deserves more than they get because they put out a good product. It's an enjoyable product to watch.
A phenomenal product.
My bitch about it's never been about the women's soccer team. My bitch about it's been with the women's basketball league. The WNBA is horrible, and the thing is, soccer players. Yes, the women's soccer team throws a little bit of a bitch about it, but they don't throw nearly as big of a bitch about it as the WNBA throws.
Yeah, but I think it's because these are world champions. You can't act like a bunch of whiny bitches. You know what I mean?
But they have more of an argument, though. They have more of an argument as to why they should be paid more. The WNBA does not.
Is the WNBA complaining about money, or are they complaining because people don't watch?
They complain about money. They want to be paid in parity with NBA players. They believe their product is just as good, and the only reason that their product is not succeeding is because people are being ignorant and not watching them.
I watched a WNBA game during the COVID when they were in the bubble. And I think during those games, the attendance actually went up. Like, it's all about what you bring.
For those of you who didn't catch that, nobody goes to the WNBA game. So in COVID, you weren't allowed to go to WNBA games. Therefore, it went up.
Oh, shit. Am I in the penalty box again? I'll see you in 30 seconds.
I'm going to penalty box for that. I'm going to give you a report.
Nick, dude, just hates this penalty box, bro. Even if he's not in, he's like, nah, don't do that.
It's a lonely feeling. It's a lonely feeling. It's like a dog being in a cage, man. It's not a fucking fun feeling. You'll be there soon, John. Don't you worry.
You're going to the penalty box when you deserve to go in the penalty box.
Look, at the end of the day, I just believe that if you put out a product, like he said, if your product is phenomenal, then you should be rewarded what you deserve. The women's team is representing our country when the men could not, okay, because they could not deliver the product. They were weak and they were not pulling through. They deserve more. And when Nick makes that comparison with a Brazilian team playing the women's national team, there is a fuck ton of Brazilians tuning in, right? Is that where you're going, Nick? The amount of people?
I'm saying the reason why you think that the women's team might bring in more than the men's team is because you talk about women's soccer all the time, and for a good reason, because they're the top in the world. But there's a lot of people that watch men's soccer in the United States, and when the men's soccer team plays a team like Brazil, there's not only people in the United States watching that, Brazilians are also watching their team play the United States. So you got to count that in as revenue as well.
You're talking about you're talking about how many people are watching, the views.
Yes.
Right.
So when the men's national team in Brazil plays, the whole country of Brazil is watching.
Sure, but when they're playing the United States in the first round of the World Cup, first game, that doesn't mean anything. I bet you the women's national team playing in the World Cup final against Brazil, there's two entire countries watching, Brazil and the United States. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They get further in the tournaments, meaning they stay longer in the tournaments, and they go deeper, and they get to the championship game. They win the championship, so there's more games being watched when they're in a tournament. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, like I said, I'm not an expert at this. Me and John did look this up before, I believe, and I believe the men's team produces more revenue in terms of dollars and cents than the women's national team does.
It makes no sense.
There might be like one game, like if they're in the World Cup finals, where the women's team absolutely kills it. But the men's team does produce. I don't think it was that drastic.
But no, it wasn't. But it was still. It was weird because like they haven't won shit, and still the revenue and the women's is not. It's not like it's not significant, but it's still something to be like, yo, what the fuck, bro? They're winning world championships here, and they're gonna do it again, bro. They're nasty.
I want to see. I want to stick on. I want to stick on soccer. We'll go back to our Euro Cup.
All right,
Nick, you're the last man standing.
I am.
Me and John.
Good pick.
Me and John eliminated.
Not only was John eliminated, he was eliminated by my Belgian national team.
Yes.
From
Belgium.
I was hoping that Nick. I was hoping he wasn't going to pay attention and he didn't know who knocked him out.
From an absolute dart throw from Mr. Hazard, the younger Hazard.
Yeah, it's the brother Hazard. The other one's hurt.
Toyan, what's his name?
I think it's like
Thorgan.
I just say T Hazard.
I think it's
And the other one is
Toyan.
E. But Belgium moves on. I think it's going to be. They're playing Italy in the next round. I think that's going to be the match of the tournament. The winner of that match will, I believe, win the entire tournament. France, I don't even want to talk about them. It was a 3-3 tie. They went into the extra time. The extra time expired. They went into penalty kicks. And lo and behold, who misses the damn penalty kick? Mr. Mbappe.
I mean, bro, that game was absolutely chaotic. I mean, it was nuts. It was a great game. I could not believe that he missed his penalty kick. I was absolutely shocked. I thought, you know what, dude? You know what? This dude is but he was kind of, I don't know, bro. I think he was injured at some point. But it was the most I felt defeated, Tony. I mean, I felt for him, bro. But he literally, like, he gave away where he was going with the ball, bro. He gave away the shot. He led with his he just everything. The keeper was it was like the keeper was sure, bro, where he was going, and he just it was booty. I was kind of pissed off. That was a cheeks kick, bro. It was garbage.
England played Germany today, and it was awesome.
Yes,
awesome
knocked them
match. They kept showing David Beckham up in the stand, sitting next to Ed Sheeran. I was like, man, I would give anything to be in that box right now with those two guys. Those are the coolest two guys in the world, man. I
was actually reading up on something on the Belgium national team. I guess this team had been like 15 years in the making. I guess the government or people in charge of this team like sunk like a ton of money into the Belgium national team in hopes. I guess they were really aiming for 2018's World Cup, but it was around this time where it would come to fruition, and it actually did. So
yeah, De Bjorn was still young during the last World Cup, so he's supposed to, but he got injured. He got injured the other day on their last game against Portugal, so I don't know if he's going to be able to play.
Portugal played dirty too. What a dirty team that is.
There's some dirty sons of bitches.
They're not dirty, bro.
Going out to hurt people.
I mean,
how about our last episode? I told you guys, watch out for the Netherlands. The Netherlands are this. The Netherlands are that. They're freaking awesome. They're going to win this entire tournament, and then they lose 2-0 to the Czech Republic. Which proves once again I don't know nearly enough about this soccer shit. I did watch England today, though. I thought they were awesome. I think England's going to win that side of the bracket, and they're going to face the winner of the Belgium-Italy game. So if you're a betting person, I'd probably bet Denmark and Switzerland because I've been wrong on everything so far.
I mean, dude, how could you have seen yesterday's ending, bro?
That's bullshit, man.
I mean, honestly, that was garbage, bro. I'm just pissed that he decided to kick where he did, bro. I mean, Jesus. Guys before you were kicking like they were rolling on the ground. They weren't even giving it there. They slowed down. They gave it a little tap, bro. Oh, my God.
All right, we're going to get into some final thoughts. I'm going to start us off this week on final thoughts. I want to talk real quick about the Wimbledon tournament that's started yesterday. I'm not big into tennis, but I have an appreciation for it, especially for Wimbledon.
Weren't you and Billy Brontes tennis players our senior year of high school?
Me and Billy took on the Trap Brothers. And you could probably imagine how that one turned out. Dominated me and Billy. But I was looking at this. I don't know if you guys follow this stuff, but basically it's Roger Federer, Rafa Nadal, Novak Djokovic. Federer has 20 major titles. Nadal has 20 major titles. And Djokovic has 19 major titles.
I feel like
To put that in retrospect, into some terms that might trigger to know this a little better, to think about how crazy this is. That's like saying Tiger Woods. That's like having there be 3 Tiger Woods at the same time.
Yeah.
That's how wild that is. And no one even talks about tennis. No, like it's like, did you guys even know did you guys know how many majors they had before I just said them?
I mean, I would have guessed. I would have just guessed a lot between the three of them. Like here's the
I
thing.
would not have even guessed a lot.
Nick,
I know
you
that
need to
he's
go
good.
back to your Simone Biles person and say, no, you listen here. Tennis doesn't get enough credit. We need to be talking about tennis majors more.
I feel like tennis is the sport you can easiest dominate because there's just dominant players all the time at tennis, and they win 90% of the tournaments.
I mean, not
Think about
technically.
it. When we were younger, it was all the person who won every time was like Sampras and Agassi.
Sampras and Agassi. And do you know that those guys have I think 11 major titles for Sampras and 12 for Agassi?
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. These guys are 20, 20, and 19.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most. 20 is the most.
Yeah.
Someone's Nadal's right with them, and then Djokovic has 19.
So
Which
basically,
Djokovic will probably win this Wimbledon, which will put him at 20 as well, which is insane.
So basically, when I was up to the point when I was 18 years old, from probably when I was 8 to 18, it was Sampras and Agassi. That was it. Then all of a sudden, it was Federer and Nadal. And I think the last probably 10 years, Djokovic came on really strong. And even think about before that. We'll go back to the women's side. I mean, how long have one of the Williams sisters, particularly Serena, dominated that sport?
Over 20
she just
years.
Hurt herself today.
It was 2 decades.
She's trying to win another championship, and she just got hurt today.
Think about how dominant she is. Think about how dominant she is at that sport. The greatest female tennis player of all time. She has 23 major titles.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. 23, and she's the most dominant ever.
Yep.
Those guys are 20, 20, and 19, and they're playing at the same time.
But Djokovic was a little off kilter from those. He wasn't exactly the same time. Nadal and Federer were exactly the same time.
Can you imagine if they didn't have to face each other? One of them would probably have 40 if the other one didn't exist.
Yeah.
Perfect balance.
But Wimbledon tennis was my final thought. I'm cheering for Djokovic to get number 20, so there'll be a 3-way tie, and let the games begin. John, you got a final thought?
Yeah, bro. I'm freaking out about this Giannis injury right now. It's a hyperextended knee, and I'm really not good. I'm freaked out. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm freaked out. Like, I love that dude. I just really want him to pull through. I wanted him to win this series. Oh my God, I'm so salty right now. I don't know shit about tennis, and I'm not even gonna try to. Yeah, that's all I got, man. This Giannis injury's got me shook.
You are Greek freaked out right now, huh?
I am Greek freaked out, bro.
Nick, what about you, buddy?
3 things. I will, if it plays out like this, I think it's kind of, it's always nice to have one Cinderella story. When you have 2 Cinderella stories playing each other, it's probably going to be a little whack. And if you have the Suns playing against the Hawks in the NBA title game, the NBA title series, it's going to be. I don't think that does a service to basketball. The other thing is Roy Boy brought up a good sport that we forgot to mention in the Olympics, and that is boxing. I love watching boxing. And
wow.
And also wrestling too. I do like watching wrestling. They still have that. I know they tried to get rid of it a couple years back.
Probably a bunch of dudes with ringworm everywhere. Remember dudes at high school? Remember dudes at high school that wrestle would always have cauliflower ear and ringworm.
And Potigo. The last thing I'm going to say is I just did a little quick research, and actually for the last 3 years, the female national soccer team for the United States has just eclipsed the men's national. When me and John were talking about it back when we were mentioning that was probably like 3 or 4 years back. The men's were making more money, but now the female team actually does make more money. So
pay them more.
They should be paid. They should be paid more. So that's it. That's my final thoughts.
Jeez, don't be so aggressive.
I know, you should smack the table or something.
That was very aggressive.
It was an aggressive final thought. You guys told me to be more aggressive on my final thoughts.
So ask you guys, please hit the subscribe button, like the channel, like the video, leave us comments. We'll get to your comments. Thanks, Roy Boy and Dan, for hanging out with us tonight, throwing some comments out there. I love seeing that. Appreciate you guys. And as always, we'll throw a cheers up. And you guys got a cheers. Here we go.
Cheers.
And we'll see you next week on the Locker Room Rant.
See you later. Take it easy.